Hey guys, welcome to my channel. This channel is basically for beginners in iOS development. I'll be showing you guys how to navigate Xcode, create simple iOS applications. And for today's tutorial, we will be creating a dummy project and just initializing a few pod files that would like to use. So let's go ahead and create a single view application. We'll name it tutorial 1. It will be a Swift file. We have the option to choose Objective-C, but for this tutorial we will use Swift. We will not be using core data or unit or UI testing. Let's create the file. Let's save it on our desktop. We could create a GIF repository locally on the computer, but for this project, I will not be doing that. A GIF repository is basically just a tool for keeping track of your various versions while you're developing code. For more complex application, it is very recommended for programmers to use this tool, because should you make a mistake down in the future, you can always go back and see what your original code was before it was changed. Let's create our project. Our project has successfully been created. We are presented with the Xcode dashboard. Right here we see our bundle identifier, our version number, our device. Our device target will be universal, meaning both iPhone and iPad. For deployment target, I will set it to iOS 10. Okay, now let's close this for the time being, and let's open up our terminal, and we want to initiate a pod, so we'll have to navigate to the project folder. For mine, it's saved on the desktop under the name tutorial 1. So let's navigate to that folder. Now we've navigated to the desktop. Now let's navigate to tutorial 1 folder. So now we're in tutorial 1. The command to initiate a pod file in our project will be pod init. Click enter, it takes a couple of seconds, then it's initiated. If we open, we will see our pod file right here. This is our pod file. For now, it is empty because we have not installed any pods in there. So what I'll be doing, I'll be installing pods from the terminal. So let's just, in order to access the pod file, we'll use the command nano pod file. It brings us to exactly the same file, which is right here. I'll be using one main pod. If you want different types of pod, there's pods for UI, there's pods for backend. One of the most used locator for pod files is CocoaPods. Now, CocoaPods.org is basically where you can find all your pod files for basically whatever you want to do. So if you want a pod for a UI label, you could just type it in and search for what will be good for you, and then it will present you with certain examples. However, for this project, I'll just be installing one pod for now, and that will be Google's Firebase. We'll be using Firebase as our backend for this project that we'll be moving forward with. So we do pod, single quotation. Now a double quotation will not work. It will have to be single quotation and Firebase. Control X. We want to save modified buffer. Hit enter. And then we're not yet done because now we have to install this pod file into the project that we're doing. In order to do this, we have to use the following command: pod install. Enter. And it basically downloads all the dependencies that goes with Firebase. Firebase itself, Firebase Analytics, Firebase Core, Firebase Instance ID, Google App Measurements, Google Utilities, and NanoPB. So now, after this is created, if you go back to your tutorial 1 folder, you will see a new file created called tutorial1.xc workspace. Going forward within this project, this is what we will use instead of this. So let's close our terminal for now, and let's see what the new file is about. Great. So now we get another file right here, which is our pod. So basically, this is where you see all the pods that you've installed. And this shows all the pods that we currently have installed. With Firebase, all these pods are dependencies for Firebase. Again, we'll go, let's open our project, and to